Hi everybody, it's the 19th of December 2024 and major update patch 1.1 has just dropped for Stalker 2 for PC and Xbox and will be downloading hopefully on your computer or your console now, and it's a big one. We're talking like 120, 130 gigabytes. I think it's a whole new game. And what's really important about this is this has the first iteration of the life fixes. So what I thought we would do is go through the patch notes and see what we can see, and maybe I'll try to explain some of this if you're kind of scratching your head. If you've been holding off on Stalker 2 because you were waiting for these fixes, then happy days. Also, what will be interesting as well is I've actually done my Game of the Year video 2024. My Game of the Year 2024 is Stalker 2, and in that video I talk about, even with the AI not really working in places away from the major points of interest. So this is going to be great. So anyway, here we go. Happy holidays, Stalkers. Just before Christmas and New Year's, we are ready to present patch 1.1. It's the first major patch for Stalker 2, and it will address over 1,800 issues, including the first iteration of the A-Life fixes. So I guess that means that they haven't fixed everything. We understand that the size of the patch is huge and the process of downloading it will take some time. We would like to thank you for your understanding, and we will work on this aspect as well. So let's begin. So I think what we've seen from Stalker 2 is basically different builds of the game. I think the release build was a fork, and they carried on working on the 1.1 version in a way that meant that it just wasn't worth trying to update version 1. It was like, no, it's a different build. Let's get this done. A-Life fixes. So if you weren't sure what the A-Life is, this is the NPC and mutant monster activity that happens around the map. So Stalker games, the original Stalker games that came out in 2007, 2008, 2009, one of the things that made them so special, one thing that makes them so special, is that when you move out of, say, your starting village where you are, the zone is full of life. There's mutants, monsters wandering around. There's animals wandering around. There's stalkers wandering around. There's the army. There's bandits, and they're all interacting with each other separate from you. So you're not the main reason why they are there. They're just there doing their thing, wandering around and interacting with each other in kind of a random manner. And so as you were wandering along, you would come across some bandits fighting some dogs, or some army fighting some bandits, or some mutants attacking some stalkers, all this sort of stuff. And it made it very interesting, and it meant that you didn't really know what was around the corner. And it also meant travelling between the areas was more interesting. Unfortunately, in Stalker 2, travelling between the major points of interest is quite boring, really. It's nice for kind of sightseeing and exploring, going, oh, that looks interesting, or that's a nice view. But there's not much going on until you get to the next big point of interest. So anyway, players can now encounter roaming NPCs across the zone more often. One of the reasons they said it didn't work, why they had to take it out, was for optimization. Because what they found is the CPU load of working out what all these characters were doing. Because it's not only just as they come into, say, as you're wandering along, it's not like they just spawn in around you randomly and then start interacting. The idea is that these NPCs are having their own kind of almost like little quests. So even when they're not in your field of view, they're wandering off doing other things. So there's all these different things happening. Greatly extend the distance to which A-Life NPCs are visible to the player. That was always very important, so you can get your binoculars out. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons why they didn't have binoculars or don't have binoculars. And you could say, oh, what's that patrol doing over there? Fix the aggressive optimization issue that prevented A-Life NPCs to exist in offline out of the player's visualization range. In offline mode, A-Life will continue to advance their goals over time. That's really important. Players may now have opportunities to encounter A-Life NPCs they previously met by following in the same direction as the NPCs. How cool is that? So you bump into some friendly stalkers, you maybe have a chat with them, trade with them. They're heading off towards Cordon area, and you are as well, but maybe going through another route, and then you bump into them again. That would be really cool. Improved A-Life NPCs navigation offline using Game Graph Global AI Navigation Map. Fix multiple issues where NPCs would fail to follow or find a path to their designated goals. Fix several issues with NPC being stuck in online-offline transition state. Enhance A-Life NPC's motivation to expand territory and actively attack enemies and mutants. Fix the issue that would result in fewer A-Life NPCs encountered than intended. Further contextual actions improvements to ensure seamless transitions between offline and online states for NPCs engaged in these actions. The groups exploring the zone are now more diverse regarding possible factions and group sizes. Fix the issue that while roaming over the zone, human NPCs didn't satisfy their communication needs and talks. Not quite sure what that means. And some other development related improvements. So, AI improvements. Reduce the number of summons and increase time between spawns of pseudo-dog phantoms. That's good, because they were a bit overwhelming, weren't they, the pseudo-dogs? Fixed issues where zombies would have their arms and legs twisted while knocked down. Fixed an issue where large mutants would hide behind small cover, such as trees. Fixed an issue with mutant limbs stretched sometimes when firing automatic weapons. Fixed an issue where bloody visual effects played a few times after a rat's death from grenade. I've seen that one. Fixed an issue where NPCs quickly detected the player when he was crouching. Fixed an issue where NPCs would enter doors without opening them. Fixed the issue where the controller could take the main story NPCs under control. Fixed an issue where the Chimera would try to enter a narrow passage that it couldn't enter instead of hiding in ambush. So there's lots of fixed issue. So that's all good. And 50 more minor anomalies were fixed. Balance adjustments. Increased rewards for several missions. Fixed issue when artifacts with physical protection effect gave maximum possible effect. Changed goldfish artifact value to 14,000 coupons. Fixed issue where player is able to have infinite coupons via selling and returning back any stackable consumables. Yes, we've all used that, I think. Fixed infinite money exploit when splitting a stack of weapons from selling windows. Fixed issue when A-Life NPCs can be spawned dead with full clips of ammo. Increased Snork's abilities cooldown time by 30%. Hopefully that means they don't jump at you quite so often. Gauss rival damage was increased. Increased difficulty for the fight with, and I'll leave that blank. Recalculated rewards for the Harpies missions. Fixed instant player death after getting almost full radiation bar. Fixed that Poltergeist and Burrow do not deal damage with thrown objects in some cases. Removed the POS 8x scope from the assortment of several merchants. Tweaked damage from psi fields and more things. Performance improvements in largely populated areas of maps. Investigated and applied further improvements to dead zones and curves for gamepad movement. Aiming and camera controls for a more smooth and controllable experience using sticks on controller. Well, I don't really have any problem with that. Fixed performance drops on RTX 3000 with enabled FS. Oh, that's good. I've got a RTX 3070, so that's me. With enabled FSR frame generation. Fixed issue with frame freezing on exiting a tunnel. Fixed issue with not working Razer Kishi Ultra controller. Lots of other stuff. Cutscene fixes. Interactable objects. Fixed an issue when something was closed after loading save. Fixed physics for ammo boxes and broken lamps. Lots of more fixes. So there's lots of fixes and bugs for missions and storyline progression, which is good. So we shouldn't really have to use the command consoles or the console commands on PC. Unfortunately, you can't do that on Xbox. It's a bit of a pain. So we'll miss all those. Loads of fixes for side missions and open world encounters. Open world direction, exploration and zone experience. Fix the lightning ball sometimes gets stuck. Fix that sometimes artifacts did not appear in arch anomalies. Improve dead bodies physics. Fix when players' equipment was damaged while player was crouching. Fix corpses disappearing issue. Fix stretched texture on some trees. Fixed issue with toxic cloud anomaly idle. Video effects. Fixed an issue with rat swarm spawning above the cave. Fixed an issue when characters became wet in dry spaces. Fixed an issue with sharp weather changes present at 4:30 in the morning and 23:59 at night. Fixed that wandering lights anomaly doesn't always spawn its artifact. Fixed the issue with bulbar arch anomaly sometimes not appearing. I think that happened to me, that one. Fixed the issue with non-lootable corpses spawning at the border between Cordon and the Lesser Zone. Fix that the player was unable to reach the artifact near abandoned hamlet on swamps. Increased distance for combat barks. Fixed issue where NPCs could get stuck in a doorway during the mission in Zalicia Hub. Fixed an issue where NPCs could spawn and get stuck on isolated surfaces. Seen that. Excuse me, I've still got a bit of a cold. Improved bullet penetration, visual effects, improved cloth simulation on corpses of NPCs, fixed issue with blood decals, fixed issue where far distant areas of the environment appeared too bright at night, fixed issue where zombies waking up animations was restarted every time the player looked away, fixed an issue where sometimes an emission started during a cutscene would not end, fixed issue where diggers around the slag heap did not stop being an aggressive player after the end of combat, and some other improvements. Player gear and player state adjustments, fixed issue that helmets that don't have psi and rad protection, fixed issue with armors, SCP-100 Discovery and Ecology have no psi protection, fixed issue when players could not install lead container upgrade on PSV 5V Guardian of Freedom suit, smoke was made less intense at shots from a weapon with silencer, fixed broken arm during magazine attachment to machine gun, lots of other fixes there. Again, the link to this will be in the description below this video. Updated in-game tutorials to improve first-time user experience. Fixed issue where the player would approach a mission location and new weapons would randomly spawn and equip in hand. Fixed the issue where the player... Fixed the issue where the player is unable to swap compared weapons positions while trading. Added possibility to revert detachments of pre-installed modules in upgrade menu. Removed the ability to trade with NPCs at noontide. Reworked a few UI elements in the upgrades menu of the PDA. Stashes marker colour changed to violet. Fixed technicians not being able to install certain armour upgrades. More fixes. Achievements fixed. Saves. Fixed issue with missing save file. 15 localizations. 40 audio improvements, 20 improvements to some character NPC's visual experience, and over 500 fixes for foliage, texture flickering, bugs in navigation messages, collisions, errors in object positioning and contextual actions, VFX related fixes, non-destructible objects, and more. Thank you very much for your support and feedback. We will continue working on the game, listening to your comments, reviews to investigate all possible issues and solve them as soon as possible. If you detect any anomalies that are not supposed to be in the zone, please report them to our technical support hub. This will help us investigate your particular case and implement fixes faster. And there we go. Now, that link I'll put in the description below the video as well. It's very important. Also, now the fact that they've got this major update out of the way, what we're going to find is as the big stuff is getting fixed, they'll really need help with the smaller things, the things that you can only find out when you've got a million people playing your game. Because I know at the moment I've submitted a few bug reports and they've said back saying we might have fixed that in the latest update. Why don't you go back and check? And I'm like, well, I'm working my way through the story. I'm not going to go back. I can't go back and do a previous mission. But we're going to find that as these big things are solved, then in the new year we'll be able to go back and we're going to be able to help GSC make Stalker 2 even better. And then we're going to have proper mod support coming in for big mods, hopefully mods on Xbox as well. Wow, absolutely fantastic. So patch 1.1, get downloading it now if you can, because it's a big one. It's basically the whole game again. Can't wait to get into the zone and see what it's like with the A life. Going to be a bit more challenging, I think, but a lot more random and feel a lot more alive and a lot more like the original games. If you haven't checked out Stalker 2 already, it's brilliant. It's my game of the year. But what do you think? If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. And of course, I'll see you again soon.